We are live, everybody. It is the Vendetta Sports Media Daily Show. It is July 27th, a nice little Thursday soccer action for you here today. Jackson Fyda alongside me, Jerry Walker. And you know, when the two of us are here, it's all football, all soccer. It's going to be a good time. A lot of news, some actual gameplay being happening at the moment, some preseason friendlies, the Women's World Cup. Some guy made his debut for Inter Miami, and that went pretty well. Not sure who that was exactly, but I'm sure we'll talk on that a little bit. But Jackson, before we get into all this news and coverage, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Like you said, we got preseason friendlies going. We're getting closer to the start of things again, so it's a good time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know as I'm a Leeds fan, so playing in the EFL Championship, that season actually starts a week tomorrow. So we're here. It is all over.
Chef Wednesday, baby.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Wednesday. Wednesday will be there. I mean, isn't Wednesday the first match, I believe? I think they played Friday. But also next weekend we'll have the Community Shield, Man City against Liverpool, I believe. Oh, no, it's Man City Arsenal.
Yeah, because we got second in the league.
Yeah, I guess because Man City won the FA Cup as well. So
yeah, by default.
Hey, still should be an exciting match. We saw some Arsenal stuff happen last night, but let's get into some more or less breaking news that's just been announced earlier this morning. David Silva and Cesc Fabregas have both retired from the game. Fabregas more because it was his time, and David Silva was kind of the unfortunate one. Injuries, some ACL stuff has ended the 37-year-old's career, and what a career it was.
Yeah, I mean, absolute legend for Manchester City. For all those years he was there, the leagues he was able to win, and he was an elite player too, like elite level player. I think he's like underrated, criminally underrated by the soccer community as a whole because he was a baller. And yeah, I mean, it's really sad when you have to see it, when you see like a player have to retire due to injuries or other stuff like that, like the Sergio Aguero retirement, something like that. You hate to see it, but he still managed to have a great career. He's going to be happy with it. And yeah, he's a legend at Man City. Does he have a statue?
Yes, he does.
He does, yeah. So that's how legendary he is there. He has his own statue. So that shows just how valuable he has been to the club throughout the years. And yeah, one of the better players of last generation, I'd say, for sure.
One of the generational midfielders. Obviously, Man City won 4 Premier Leagues, 2 FA Cups, a whole load of other trophies. But it was also in Spain. He was part of that Spain dynasty that won 2008 Euros, 2010 World Cup, and the 2012 Euros. And he's been just one of those great midfielders that it's going to be – the game is going to miss him, we'll put it that way.
Mm-hmm. For sure. He's 37, though, which is –
Yeah, so it's not completely crazy, but it's still – little bit unfortunate. He can't play forever, as we've seen, but more the fact that despite the age, to me, it's how much of the injuries caused him to retire, and that's more kind of the downside of things there.
Yeah, but again, your body, as he gets older, it's just harder to maintain things and keep going at that level. The fact that, like, Ronaldo's doing what he's doing, or better yet, Iniesta is, like, those guys are something else. 37 is a long time to keep playing.
Yes.
Obviously, he's going to be disappointed he can't keep playing because he loves the game. But, I mean, it's still a great career, and he made it till 37. So, props to him. Great career.
Yeah, absolutely great career. I mean, Iniesta's back in the news again because he could potentially be making the move to join his former Barcelona teammates at Inter Miami. That'd be wild because he's, like 41, 42 at this point.
Yeah, and now that they have that extra, I think, deep international slot.
Yeah,
they can bring someone in. So him or Suarez, I'm down to see what happens. But I'm on this Inter Miami hype train for sure with all that.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we'll get into that more, but it's just so much fun actually, like, following the MLS a bit, or maybe not necessarily the MLS, but following Inter Miami, what's happening there. But I do want to talk before we move on about the other guy that retired today, Cesc Fabregas. That was more because it was his time. He's what now? He's 36, so hasn't really been playing much since he left Chelsea. Had a 3-year spell in Monaco and then retired from Como, where he only played 17 matches last season. But another key player for the teams he's been a part of. Barcelona, Arsenal, Chelsea, won numerous titles with them. Fortunately, he never won the Champions League final. He only was in that final once and finished as a runner-up with Arsenal.
Yeah.
Also was part of that Spain dynasty. And God, just looking at these names for Spain's team, the midfield they had was absurd.
Fabregas, Silva, Busquets, Xavi. I mean, Iniesta. It was actually unreal. The amount of talent they had in that midfield. That's why they won so much. I mean, you also helped that you had David Silva up top. Not David Silva.
David Villa.
David Villa, yeah, excuse me. David Villa up top. And he had the best goalkeeper in the world at the time in goal in Iker Casillas, and Ramos. And their whole team was just stacked.
Yeah, even looking at their World Cup team, you have just the back four. You have John Capivea at left back. Then you have Puyol and PK at center back, and then some guy, I guess, playing right back in Sergio Ramos. So
that's
just like absurd.
I mean, that team, when you think about it, can you think of a national team that has been better than that? Like top to bottom. I mean, France is pretty damn good now, but they're not.
One I would say potentially, and maybe that Germany team that won the World Cup.
Yeah, but that German team was pretty stacked as well.
Even then, like they didn't do what the Spain team did, where they won 2 Euros and a World Cup in consecutive years, which that's outrageous.
Yeah, the only team that can beat them though.
Yeah,
the U.S. Confederations Cup semifinals 2009.
Oh, geez.
Oh, yes. Josie Altidore absolutely shaking off PK like he's a nothing at scoring.
God. Prime Josie Altidore was so much fun to watch.
Dude, that tournament was peak U.S. I remember that. That was like the first thing I remember, like U.S. soccer-wise, when we beat Spain and then we're beating Brazil at halftime in the final. Oh, if we could have won that.
That would have been an impressive win. I mean, it was, 2-0 at halftime to the U.S.?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then they quickly came out and
they decided they weren't messing around anymore. And
yeah, they decided to just take it to us, but fun ride.
Yeah, I can't win them all. In the U.S.'s case, they've still yet to win any major worldwide tournaments. They've definitely won plenty of stuff in CONCACAF. So, as we talked before, the Kings of CONCACAF now. It's going to be interesting to see what they do in 3 years' time with the World Cup, which will honestly be on pretty much this time in 3 years. So cannot wait. But I do have one question for you on that World Cup real quick before we move on to the Women's World Cup. But I know with the international friendlies, a lot of them are being played in the U.S. at the moment, and I've seen a lot of issues about the playing fields because a lot of the NFL stadiums have turf fields. Do you think they're going to I think they're going to have to roll out grass over them or do something for the World Cup?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's like a FIFA mandate. I think they came out and said, yeah, you need grass, which you're playing at the highest level. You want grass. Yes. I mean, just for everything. I mean, I think grass in general is just better for athletes. And we're seeing that in the NFL with the amount of injuries you're getting from people playing on turf. Like it's a thing. Like grass is undeniably the best surface to play sports like this on. And when you have the largest tournament in the world coming, you got to have grass. So, yeah, they're going to have to roll in grass and do that. And I think they know that. They're probably not happy about it because it's expensive. But, I mean, they're still going to make so much money off doing that. So, I think, they have to do that.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be – because, I mean, it's just that kind of grass doesn't give as much or gives much more leeway in moving around on it. The turf is very stagnant. Mm-hmm. You kind of take one step, you're not going to slide much. You're going to just move. You're going to get kind of jammed in place, and that's where you see ACL injuries, kind of Achilles injuries, just those kind of things that can really derail someone's career.
Well, and more common than that is when you do slide and you do keep going rather than stopping, you just get these awful turf burns.
Yeah.
Which are the worst. They're the most annoying, worst things in the world. I get a lot of those because in college soccer, most people have turf fields because of the expense. You slide, it hurts like hell. I still have a mark on my left hip, a giant like red mark from something that happened last February. Like they stay around for a long time.
Jeez.
Turf just it sucks compared to grass.
Yeah, it's really, really not. It's not even a close competition. It's grass.
No.
But oh well, we'll see what happens. I'm pretty sure there will be grass for the 2026 World Cup. But right now, 2023 Women's World Cup is going on, and we're about 2/3 of the way through most of the group stage. Some teams have only played one match so far. Half of them have played two. And we'll start with I just go through groups. Group A, Switzerland, the host New Zealand, Philippines, and Norway. They are in that order. Switzerland has 4 points. New Zealand, Philippines have 3 each, and Norway has 1. Do you have any thoughts on this group?
Dude, that Philippines win.
That Philippines win was amazing.
That was shocking, to say the least. I mean, we've seen, we'll get to this later, but both hosts have lost games that they shouldn't have lost already. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy because now you look, Switzerland has 4 points, New Zealand has 3, Philippines has 3, and Norway, who has Ada Hegerberg, Hegerberg has only 1 point at the bottom. They're behind the Philippines right now. So if the Philippines can beat Norway, they go through.
Yeah, that's going to be – I mean, that would be a great story because I'm certain that this was the first win the Philippines has ever had, at least in the Women's World Cup. I would think even in any World Cup because I don't think their men's side's even made it ever. So that's just a historic win. And I don't know if you saw the video of there was some watch party in the Philippines, and when the final whistle blew, place erupted.
Oh, I bet.
Such scenes. Yeah, the limbs are out amazing. But you said it. New Zealand – as the host, that's a match they shouldn't be losing.
Mm-hmm.
They have all the fans behind them playing in Wellington for that one and just didn't go their way. But the team that's disappointed me in this group is Norway because they have some very good players. It's just Norwegian women's football has not been good the last few years. There's been a lot of politics involved with it. But
yeah, and they've got, like, again, Ada Hegerberg is, like, legit. She's, like, one of the best players in the world. I don't know where she is on that list now, but I know she was at one point the best player in the world.
Yeah.
So they should be doing a lot better, especially look at their team. They've got players playing in for Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United, Barcelona, obviously Hegerberg for Lyon, Roma, all these teams. And then you look at like the Philippines roster and you have college players in the US who are like dual national players, like playing for West Virginia. You've got
Stanford,
Northwest. I don't even know what that is. Stanford, some girl at Stanford. And then you've got a bunch of like teams in like so like Australia, some Philippines, and then just randomly in Europe.
Yeah, the captain plays in Iceland.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just a weird mismatch of players that it seemed to work out for the Philippines. Now they're realistically they probably need a win to need a win to absolutely advance. A draw could get them there depending on what happens with Switzerland and New Zealand.
Yeah, but yeah, like you said, probably want to win.
Yeah. But moving on to Group B, which the other hosts in that one, Australia, as it is a dual country host, they're struggling. They're third in their group with 3 points, a point behind both Nigeria and Canada. They're 4 each, and then Republic of Ireland has 0, and they're already eliminated. But man, Nigeria and Australia was the match early this morning, and Nigeria came to play. Tell you that much. From what I saw, it was Australia scored a goal 45th minute, 1 minute of stoppage time, and somehow it went up to 5 minutes or 6 minutes of stoppage time, and Nigeria leveled it right before the break. Mm-hmm. Nigeria gets 2 more, and then Australia gets a consolation goal in the 100th minute. But man, what a win for Nigeria.
Yeah, to beat the host like that, 3-2. I mean, they were down a goal.
Yeah.
The worst time to concede is definitely right before halftime. You feel deflated. You're like, oh, we were so close. They didn't let that affect them. They went and scored 5 minutes later, also in injury stoppage time. So that's huge right there. That's a huge momentum shift, first of all. I don't know if enough people are talking about that because Australia, in your mind, you're going into halftime, you're up 1-0, and then suddenly it's 1-1. You're like, holy shit, what just happened?
Yeah, and you know the crowd's going to feel that as well.
Yeah, and then second half, They get the second goal. It's 2-1. Did you see the third goal?
I did not. Oh, there's the one where the lady ripped off her shirt, right, in celebration.
Oh, I didn't see that, but I saw I saw she tried to head it back to her keeper. Completely wrong page. Nigerian player. Who was it? It was Oshala was able to just get in and just finish it. Simple, open net, everything because of the miscommunication. At that point, you're down 3-1.
Yeah.
With 18 minutes to go plus stoppage, and you're chasing the game. And they took it to Nigeria at the end, but I mean, when you put yourself in a situation like that where you're down 3-1, it's not good. And now you're heading into the final day, like, oh crap, we actually have to win. And not only that, you're playing Canada.
Yeah. Which Canada had a interesting match against Ireland last. Ireland obviously eliminated last in the group. But did you see the Irish goal?
Ooh, the Olympico?
The Olympico directly from a corner in the 4th minute gave Ireland the 1-0 lead from Katie McCabe. And at that one, I mean, I'm just thinking maybe Ireland might be able to hang on. It's definitely early, and it was a little early. It's unfortunate. 5th minute of first half stoppage time, concede no goal, and then Canada comes out and does what Canada does and scored one more to win that 2-1 and take kind of control of that. But it's going to be an interesting last day in Group B because, like you said, Canada and Australia play. That likely means only one of them is going to get through.
Mm-hmm.
While Nigeria plays the Republic of Ireland, and Nigeria really just needs a point to advance, and Ireland has not looked very special so far. I will say they have been unfortunate, the Irish, because first game, I'd say it's a controversial penalty against the host Australia. Might not have been, and Ireland played really well in that from the highlights I'd seen, and Canada just unfortunate second half and end of the first half, but they'll bring it to Nigeria. I think it'll be a draw is enough to get the African side through, which, hey, good on them.
Dude, yeah, they're showing up. So I'm liking that so far in this Women's World Cup. We're seeing a few surprise results, which is always fun. We're not just seeing straight chalk. I'm liking it.
Well, not straight chalk until we get to Group C at least, because that group is already pretty much wrapped up. We know the two teams going through. Both Spain and Japan have won their first 2 matches against Costa Rica and Zambia. Poor Zambia lost 5-0 both matches. It's just one of those. Going into the last one, Spain plays Japan, Costa Rica, Zambia. So really, the winner of that Spain-Japan game will advance as the group winner. Loser will be runner-up. If they draw, Spain is the top of the table.
Mm-hmm.
But Spain's one of those sneaky good teams that I feel like they aren't getting respected enough in this.
Not at all. And dude, I think they're doing women's soccer right.
Yeah.
In terms of, first of all, they get more fans at their women's league games than anyone in the world. They pack Camp Nou.
Oh yeah, I mean
the games. That doesn't happen here. So when people I just think, obviously England's doing a great job, France doing a great job, but Spain, like you said, criminal
way. Yeah. And they were the first ones really to see, at least in Europe, see the light and the end of the tunnel in women's football and really start investing in it, and it's really paid off for them. Barcelona's team is insane. I think Madrid has a decent-ish team, but it's really like that Barcelona team just wins and wins and wins, and that's it. Them, the German teams, and sometimes PSG or Lyon. Now it's getting better, but you did mention attendance. I did want to bring that up for the Group B. Australia was getting 75,000 for their opening match against Ireland, 49,000 in the second match against Nigeria. What an impressive turnout it is by the Aussies for their women's national team.
75 is it's a lot of people, man.
That is.
No, and across the board at this Women's World Cup, there have been a fair amount of fans, I'd say. Mainly for the host. Obviously, if we look at New Zealand, they got 42 for their first game and then 32 for the second game. Those are good numbers. And then
looking at U.S. and England, their first 2 matches each, they got over 40,000. Jamaica, France was at 39,000. So it's very good turnouts by the fans in Australia and New Zealand. It's a good thing to grow the sport more and get it going that way because it's never been huge anywhere in the world. The U.S. kind of claims that it's their bigger thing, but the all that is just because of the success to an extent, which the U.S. has been very successful, looking for the third straight Women's World Cup title. But it's now people are actually seeing and realizing that some of these players are good, some are skilled. It's fun to watch and all that. But anything else on this Group C? It's pretty straightforward, I think.
That's
as expected.
It'll be a fun game to watch the end. I mean, Japan's good, Spain's good, so
yeah,
we'll continue to see who comes out on top. But pretty straightforward action there, and I feel like you could have predicted that would happen before the tournament started.
Absolutely, it's kind of what you would expect. The only other group that has played played 2 matches each is Group E, which is the U.S., Netherlands, Portugal, and Vietnam. The U.S. Netherlands played last night in a game that could have really gone either way. U.S. attack was absolutely dreadful at times. The Dutch held possession very well, but didn't really create any shots of their own. Finished 1-1, and now the U.S. sits in first place ahead of the Netherlands on goal difference. Portugal is a point behind the two of them in third, and Vietnam is 0 points in their first 2 and are already eliminated. Are you worried about the U.S. women's at all?
Nah, we should beat Portugal. And I think that first half where we were kind of absolutely getting dominated, like just straight up by the Netherlands, kind of lit a fire in us, which is good. I mean, I think things changed when Lindsey Horan was fouled. Because suddenly she gets up, she's talking shit, and then scores right after that. A header where she just wanted it, ran right through everyone and scored. And that kind of lit the fire for us. And then suddenly we were going at him. Should have scored. We had one that was going top bins, cleared off the line. So we started taking it to him at that point. But it is concerning that we started out that slowly. And I'm also shocked that we only made 1 substitute.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a very interesting call and something that I saw a lot of controversy about because U.S. bench is pretty stacked as well.
Yeah, and we did that at a halftime. Didn't do anything after that. I didn't get that. But
ended up somewhat paying off. I think had there been more substitutions by the U.S., considering it is not super hot there, but it's still hot enough that they're having water breaks in both halves that you want fresh legs in. And maybe they were saving it, hoping they would just get a draw, saving their fresh legs for the Portugal match. But even then, that's a 5 days rest?
No, Trinity Rodman wasn't playing well. Alex Morgan can't finish to save her life right now. He shouldn't be starting, man. She's just not playing well right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess she does have that veteran leadership in the attack, but she's just not scoring. And I just don't know why you don't sub off her and Rodman.
Yeah.
Realistically, to get more options going in, not only do you get new options, but you get fresh legs that go against tired Dutch legs who are defending a lot at the end. So if you bring them in at the 75th minute mark, you give them 20, 15 minutes to just go out there and cook. I don't know, man. The fact that we didn't make another sub is crazy. Yeah. I think if we do that, we win the game. I think Vlatko knows that when he was saying, "Oh, it's all right, we were dominating." Nah, bro, he knew. He has to know he should have made another sub, and the fact that he didn't is crazy to me. I don't understand it at all.
It's that ignorance almost from the U.S. manager that is. Need to worry about it all that much. And even just looking at the stats, the U.S. did have more shots, but it was 59% possession for the Dutch compared to the U.S. 41. And I mean, you have 11 corners and don't score once off a corner kick for the U.S. That's kind of pitiful to an extent.
Mm-hmm. And it's easy to just say, "Oh, it's okay. We'll just go win the next one against Portugal."
I mean, to an extent, yeah, that is fair and understandable.
But they're not terrible.
No.
And if you don't show up, they can win. They only lost 1-0 to the Netherlands. I don't know how that game went, honestly, in terms of possession or anything, but only 1-0. And then they beat Vietnam by only 1 goal less than we did. Yeah. And they were dominating the whole time. So hopefully arrogance doesn't come back to bite us in the ass here and we take it seriously, I'm hoping that fire that we showed in the second half continues over to this game. I'm not concerned. Like, I think we'll definitely take care of business and move on. But there is a part of me that's like, especially because of the decision to make only one substitution because you think you're just good enough to go and win it.
Yeah.
That maybe there is a small chance that we underestimate and then it bites us in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things that I was kind of looking forward to in this tournament altogether. Is U.S. has been so dominant the last two World Cups that they were the only country that was really investing in women's football, and now we see Europe doing it, see some of the other countries and other parts of the world doing it. And that's what was exciting to me was, are these teams actually going to be able to catch up to the level of the U.S., which is to an extent, like you said, an aging squad. You still have Rapinoe, Kelly O'Hara, Alex Morgan, all I'd say past their prime and kind of maybe one World Cup too many. It seems a lot like one of the U.S. men's teams that are in between those generations where they need to kind of flush out the old and bring in more of the new, which hasn't happened quite yet.
Yeah. But again, we're not like in a catastrophic situation. We still have 4 points.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like the end of the world here. We just got to make sure we take care of business against Portugal, move on, and take it from there.
Yeah, and I'm more thinking about for the knockout stage because there's some tough teams that are going to get.
But before I start thinking about that, or they definitely need to think about this Portugal game, man, because again, it's a World Cup, and at World Cup, crazy things happen.
Yes,
you think about the men's World Cup, man. Oh my gosh, some of those wins, and even though teams didn't get through, the fact that Cameroon, Saudi Arabia, all them Tunisia were winning games against these guys, it's very possible that something could happen. It takes one set piece. One free kick, one corner, and the whole tournament changes.
Yep, absolutely. But those are the 4 groups that have played 2 matches. The other ones will kind of run through relatively quickly. Group D, Denmark, England, China, Haiti. Denmark and England both won their matches against Haiti, lost to England. Denmark beat China, 1-0 in both. That's the big one upcoming tomorrow is England and Denmark. I think English should be pretty confident. My worry about that English side is there are a lot of injuries on that team, so some key players are missing out at the moment, but I think they just have a little bit of an advantage over the Danes, and then I think it'll be those 2 that go through because they'll both beat Haiti and beat China in the next match. So,
yeah, I agree. I mean, I think England for sure is going to run through this group. I think England's team's very good, like very good. Yeah, I think they'll run through this group. China's no slouch.
No.
So you never know, And Haiti only kept it 1-0.
Yeah.
Which is pretty impressive on their part.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at China and Denmark, it was a 90th minute winner for the Danes to beat China. So
China's got a good team.
I feel like they're another one of those just very disciplined Asian teams. I was saying it a lot with Japan's men's side in the World Cup. They played their style, and it's very much let them come at you, have a strong back line, and then counter and kind of just take advantage of the other team's mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like you said, realistically, I think we can both agree that we think England and Denmark will go through. It's going to be interesting to see who wins this game, though, because then you set up the final day. One team's probably going to basically be through, and the other team's actually going to have to win.
Yeah.
And if it is Denmark who wins, that means England's going to go up against China. So that could be an interesting matchup.
It could be.
Sure.
And it's also just determining for some reason Group D in this Women's World Cup will play Group B in the knockout stage. So if you win the group of Denmark or England, you could end up having to play Australia in that first knockout round. And Australia will have their captain and arguably the best player in the world, Sam Kerr, back for that. So that's something to keep an eye on because the Aussies will be up for it when she's back.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll move on to Group F. And this is the match upcoming in the next day or so that I am most excited for, probably in this Women's World Cup group stage. France and Brazil are playing each other. Elsewhere in the group, it is Jamaica, it is Panama. Brazil beat Panama. Jamaica and France drew, but France is a sneaky good team, as is Brazil. So that should be a very fun match to watch.
First question: how the hell are Jamaica and Panama in the same group?
Honestly, that's a very good question. I did not even put
I haven't
two.
even thought about that till right now. That's two
Yeah.
CONCACAF teams. How does it make any what?
Huh. Well, we've
Bro,
been stumped.
what?
And it's let's see, and it'd be very easy to fix that as well.
Yeah, because you're looking around there.
Well, at the same time, it's like, why is New Zealand's and the Philippines in the same group?
Well, New Zealand, I
Oh,
guess,
New
is
Zealand's
OFC.
Oceania. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's OFC.
Australia.
Dude, that's wow.
Well, you look at Group H, which we'll get to in a sec, but it's 4 countries from 4 different confederations. None of them CONCACAF.
Bro, what?
Huh. That's actually bizarre because that realistically should never be happening. You shouldn't be having the only countries that confederations that ever have 2 teams in the same group are Europe and, on very rare occasion, South America.
What is the I guess maybe CONCACAF was okay. I think it's probably just that CONCACAF has more spots for like
maybe
qualification.
CONCACAF gets 4, Asia gets 6, Africa gets 4, Europe gets 4.
That's like the men. So how? What the hell?
Unless it was I bet it was the Interconfederation playoff. It was. That's how Panama made it in. So they did the draw, and it ended up the way that Panama got through over Paraguay. And
you should still have something.
Should have been able to change that around.
You should still have something in play where that doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Like what?
Well, I mean, I guess looking at it, the 3 teams that won the Confederation playoff matches were Portugal, Haiti, and Panama. So realistically, it would have been either. I mean, I guess you could have done 2 more European teams in the same group, but then that also would have put 2 North America, 2 CONCACAF teams in Group E with the U.S. if Portugal was in a different one. So I guess it works out the way it does, but it's definitely something weird that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, I just noticed that. I mean, I guess it is different. It's women's, not men's. So I guess CONCACAF has that extra spot because men's was only 3.5. Women's looks like it's 4.5.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where it comes into play. But wow, that was interesting to see.
That was a weird one right there, but oh well. Moving on. I mean, I think this one's pretty straightforward. France, Brazil should get out of this group. Yeah. I wouldn't have seen Jamaica pull off an upset somewhere and get through just because the reggae girls would be fun to see.
They tied France.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's possible.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely possible. They beat Panama. If Brazil beats France, all you have to do is end up having a better goal difference.
Yeah. It's
possible.
It is very, very possible. We'll see. Those will be upcoming the next day or so, 2 days, I believe. Moving on, Group G, Sweden, Italy, South Africa, and Argentina. Sweden and Italy both won their first match each. Sweden won 2-1 over South Africa. Argentina lost 1-0 to Italy. This one's a little interesting of a group because none of these teams are really outstanding. Sweden's probably on paper the best team, and then I think it's kind of very close between the other 3. South Africa might be on paper that 4th team, but it's a weird group because we also now have Sweden and Italy playing tomorrow, Argentina versus South Africa, or I guess in the U.S. it'll be late tonight, early tomorrow morning. But
yeah, I don't really know what I think's going to happen in this group, honestly.
I don't either.
When I'm looking at it, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not well versed enough to make accurate, to say how good South Africa is.
Yeah,
but like you said, you have to assume Sweden is going to be, they're going to win it. The group. But after that, I really don't know. I mean, they beat South Africa 2-1. It took a 90th minute winner.
Yeah.
So that was a close game. And then Italy beat Argentina with an 87th minute winner. So I don't know.
This group is very, very tight. This might be possibly the group of death just because it's so competitive with each other. And it's one of those that has good or not outstanding teams by any means, but they're all about the same level. So
yeah.
It's kind of like what reminded me of who was Morocco's group? Because it was Morocco, Canada, Belgium, and Croatia, I think.
Yeah, it was.
And then this reminds me of that very much, where all these teams can kind of beat each other on any given day, and it's just one of those that who ends up having that slight advantage as it goes on.
Who do you think is going to end up being the Canada? Play well for one game, then absolutely be terrible after that.
Yeah, that's very true.
Probably South Africa.
Yeah, I would think so. But they play Argentina next, so it's both teams have their back against the wall and need to win. So we will see. And then Group H, probably the biggest blowout of the Women's World Cup thus far. Germany and Colombia both have 3 points each. South Korea, Morocco have 0. Germany beat Morocco 6-0. Colombia beat South Korea 2-0. I don't see much else really changing. I think Germany will run through this group with 9 points. Colombia already has the advantage over South Korea. I think both beat Morocco, both lose to Germany.
Yeah. Colombia doesn't look good, dude. South Korea doesn't look good. I saw those highlights. One of the goals, man, hit it right at the keeper, like straight on, more or less. I think it was the Caicedo 39th minute goal.
Yeah.
Right here. And she I don't know what happened, but she basically volleyball palmed it back into the goal. And I'm like, keeper, what are we doing?
Oh my.
What are we doing? But
so that's
probably there you go.
Okay. That's been something that's like put me off watching it at times. There have been a lot of goalkeeper mistakes in this Women's World Cup. It's been a little sloppy early on. Obviously, it is early in the group stage, and there are some one-sided matches to an extent, but so you can't be making those errors. We'll say, though, on that goal, Caicedo, 18 years old, there's ever to score in a World Cup. So that's really cool to see.
I think she scored, I don't know if this is true, but at the U17 World Cup, U20, and now this, I don't know if that's true or not.
Okay.
That's what I heard.
Still very, very, very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, either way, score like that at 18 is I was right. Yeah, her third World Cup in a year. Whew, that's crazy.
Jeez.
I think she scored at every single one now.
That's honestly really, really cool.
It's remarkable. Yeah.
Talk about a potential for a bright future ahead of her.
Oh, yeah.
Part of Real Madrid's team now, and see what happens in her future, because she's probably going to have a very successful one, at least club level. I don't know if Colombia itself has enough talent. Kind of like they have some very good players on the men's side, but it's not an overall team-wise thing. They always just find a way to fall up a little short. But I mean, yeah, I think you're on board. Are you on board with it that it's going to be Germany and Colombia that advance?
Yeah, definitely.
I do want to say one more thing before we wrap up our Women's World Cup coverage. I was wrong. I was very skeptical about this Women's World Cup moving to 32 teams, because I remember 4 years ago we saw USA Vietnam. It was 13-0, or USA Thailand. It was 13-0. I was like, man, why do we need more teams? There's going to be more games like this because the talent gap is much bigger and much wider than it is in the men's game. Outside of that Germany game, it's been very close and pretty exciting in a lot of these matches.
Yeah. We've seen some upsets too. So
it has actually been a very entertaining tournament, to say the least.
Yeah, for sure.
But moving on from that to one other match that's really kind of caught our eye in the last couple days since Friday. Lionel Messi officially at Inter Miami, and he started out his US career with a bang in the League's Cup. Cruz Azul, Inter Miami was the match on Friday where Messi made his debut. Comes on in like the 56th minute, 1-1, gets caught down. 94th minute, Messi does what Messi is known to do. Beautiful free kick into top bins to win it at the death. He's here, and there's nothing it looks like anyone can do to stop him.
Dude, he's arrived. That free kick, oh my gosh. That was a thing of beauty. He's a magician, man. Like, on your debut, you're going to step up in stoppage time
Go.
and just Beautiful, beautiful goal, man. I was hyped. I was at a bar watching that. And I freaking got so hyped. People are definitely wondering what I was hyped about, but because Messi's here, man. The GOAT's here.
Yes, he is. I mean, it wasn't just that one. Obviously, ended up winning that match 2-1. Then they play Atlanta United, who haven't been a great team in the MLS this past season, I don't think, but they have been relatively successful so far. And Messi made them look like it looks like he's playing against a junior team.
Mm-hmm.
He was by far the best player on the pitch. It wasn't even a close competition. Every time he touched the ball, players would fall into place or move away from him defensively. He just makes it look so easy. Scored the opening 2 goals in that one. Miami ends up winning 4-0 and are pretty much through to the knockout stage of the League's Cup, which for those who don't know, League's Cup is the MLS and League MX. This year it's a month-long break. That'll end around, August 5th or 6th, I want to say. Maybe a little later. Or August 15th or 16th.
August 19th.
Oh, 19th is the final.
Yeah.
Okay. We could very well see Messi lift his first trophy in the U.S. And let's have you pondering the question. We've seen him play 2 matches. He has 3 goals and an assist so far. Is he going to break some records in the MLS?
I don't know if he'll be around long enough to do it. But
single season records, because that's the one I was.
Records is possible. Yeah.
Carlos Vela, I believe, has the record for most goals in an MLS season with 34. The way Messi's playing right now, it would not surprise me one bit if he gets 34 goals before the season's even done.
I don't think he will this year. I don't think there's enough time because he's coming in halfway for MLS goals at least.
Yeah.
Next year, though, very possible. And he's going to be looking to be in top form because of the Copa America coming up in the summer. So he actually has something to actually get ready for, prepare for. So he's not just going to be like kind of kicking around for nothing. Like he has something he's looking forward to. That'll be, most likely his final go with Argentina. I don't think he goes after that. He's not going back to a World Cup. So it's probably got to be the end there.
Yeah.
Next year for sure. I think it is possible. And we're seeing what he's doing right now.
Yeah. They only have 12 matches left. If he was to score 34 goals in 12 matches.
Yeah, I think.
If he does do that somehow, some way, given the Ballon d'Or then and there, it doesn't matter. If he's averaging damn near 3 goals a game, even if it is the MLS.
Dude, he's outrageous, man. First of all, can we talk about that ball from Busquets, though?
Oh, yeah. He's been another one that's been superb.
Ooh. That ball from Busquets was nasty.
It's unfair. They're just bringing that prime Barcelona team quite a bit older, with the same talent it is. Because, think about it. I know Busquets, there were times where he got the ball with his back to defenders and kept looking over his shoulder, expecting someone to put some pressure on him, and nothing came.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to absolutely destroy this league. Might be too little too late right now because Inter Miami is still the bottom of the table.
But playoffs are doable.
Yeah, they're what? They have 2 matches in hand on DC United, who is that 9th place team. DC United has 30 points. Inter Miami is 18, so only 12 back. You win your 2 games in hand, win a couple more, DC falls a little bit. Playoffs are very much in sight for Miami. It's just going to be they have a very, very, very small line of margin.
Yeah, dude, it's doable. And it's not just that they got Busquets and Messi and Alba. They also got Tata Martino as their manager.
Yeah.
Which he's managed Messi both with Argentina and Barcelona. He managed Busquets.
I think he managed Busquets and Alba as well.
Yeah, so he has experience with them. He also has experience coaching a very successful MLS team. His Atlanta United team was legit. So they got him in. That's huge. It looks like it's clicking now. Because now you have Messi who can do his thing. Robert Taylor, I didn't even know who he was until recently.
New best partnership in the MLS, Robert Taylor and Lionel Messi.
Yeah, they're providing assists for each other. And
they each had 2 goals and an assist against Atlanta in the game this past week.
Yeah, dude, how about that left-footed hit? Oh, my gosh.
Banger City.
Yeah, Robert Taylor, man. Keep doing your thing.
I will give MLS credit for this. At times, it's not been a very entertaining league to watch, but the goals that are scored week in, week out, there are always like 2 or 3 just absolute bangers.
Bangers.
Great, because everyone loves a good goal, and you got to respect it either way. So it's just so much fun to see that. But overall, I think Messi is doing well with the MLS so far. I think it's
at least.
We were talking a little before. There are a couple other guys that could be making the move to join him. Doesn't look like Luis Suarez is anymore this season, at least, because Gremio has said that he's not really going to be allowed to. He doesn't have the right to go and leave just out of his contract. They want him to the end of the season, understandably. But Andres Iniesta, the Spanish magician that is somehow, some way still playing, could very well be on his way to Inter Miami at the age of 39, now that he's left Vasil Kobe in Japan. So just throw in a fourth Barcelona legend, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, already got 3 of them. What's 4?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not like they're going to have to pay him all that much, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, probably not.
But hey.
What they're doing, man, in Miami right now is great.
Yes.
Not just for the team. Like, this is huge for them in terms of getting better, but for the league. You have Messi there now. I'm sure Apple TV is just absolutely thrilled and are basically going to be like eternally grateful for Messi because he's definitely, ever since he's come, their numbers have to be skyrocketing. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'd imagine that season pass numbers have just skyrocketed. I'm still not going to do that because I'm still going to find my creative ways to watch the games. But I bet that there are so many more people who got season pass. People are showing up to the games. I know they left. You see the mass exodus in the 70s.
When Messi subbed off.
Literally that whole stands. I mean, whatever. I don't care. They're still at the game.
Hey, they still sold out the first 76 minutes of it.
Yeah. And think about it. If you get all those people at the game, you're going to get some who wouldn't used to go to games that are going to stick around and continue going to games. Yep. That's how it works. Like when people complain about stuff like that, or like how people only care about World Cups and stuff, you still get those lingering fans after that, or people who are at least more interested. Like I talked with a few Vendetta guys who, like, after the World Cup is suddenly a little bit more interest in soccer, a little bit more interest in seeing how Messi does, you know? So you still get that benefit as well. What Messi is doing to soccer in the U.S. in general is like, it's going to be Beckham effect times 4. It really is. Because Beckham transformed the league. He laid the foundation. And I think Messi is going to help it explode.
Yeah, I absolutely 100% agree. And I mean, there's even former other Barcelona players. I was reading a story this morning about there's potential that Pedri said he's considering moving to the MLS after he's done at Barcelona. And then who's the other guy? Alejandro Balde said that Messi is the best player in the world, and wherever he's going to just bring the MLS to whatever level he wants to play at. And he's just going to make the entire league better, entire league more valuable. More people are going to watch. It's just great for American football or American soccer.
Yeah, it really is. Like, this is – and to do this right before the World Cup, that's huge.
I mean –
it just feels like a perfect storm is kind of happening, you know? Copa America, Messi, Club World Cup, all leading into the 2026 World Cup. And if you throw in promotion and relegation with USL, you have everything kind of working towards it. So
it's growing. The sport is growing, and I love to see that so much here because it has never really been as big as it is now. And shout out Messi for helping that a lot. Shout out the U.S. men for finally getting a competent enough team to get out of the group stage in the World Cup after 2 disasters. So it's growing. 2026 is going to be a fun time, and all those who watch this, keep your eye on the FIFA website. You're going to want to get your tickets when it comes because it's the best show on grass.
How early do they open that ticket portal?
I think it's the same year, or I guess it's going to be different because, I mean, I think when we went to Qatar, we got our tickets in February of that year. So it's probably like 8 or 9 months ahead.
Okay, so it'll probably be like a fall thing.
Yeah, but I would look out for it at least during the summer of 25, just
Yeah,
to get ahead of everything. Cause
I gotta get on that, man, and start
yeah,
saving up the money.
exactly. You got to start saving money for not just the World Cup, for the Copa Americas, for the Club World Cup, for the World Cup.
Everything.
I know I'm a big cricket fan. The Cricket World Cup seems to be in the U.S. next year, so I want to go to that as well. It's but yeah, being a big sports fan is expensive,
Dude,
but it's
it
worth
is.
every single cent of it.
Uh-huh. I'm still hoping we can somehow find a way to get into the stands. Get that press pass, free ticket.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the dream. We'll get there. But I do want to move on from Messi to one of the big stories of this week: Kylian Mbappe, $776 million transfer offer from Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. Total deal was at 1.1 billion with a 332 million euro transfer fee to PSG. Mbappe said no.
Yeah.
That surprised you?
No.
No.
No. It was. I made a post where I was like arguing waves in which I could see it maybe happening, but the reality is he was never going to go. And why would you?
Yeah,
He hasn't won anything, first of all, of serious value to him.
He's won league
in the French Cup. Okay. World Cup. I throw that in there.
Club wise.
But yeah, club wise, he hasn't won a Ballon d'Or. You're not going to do that if you go there. I think that honestly, with as cocky and arrogant as he is, that's probably number one in his mind. I want to be the best in the world. I want to win the Ballon d'Or. You're not going to do that if you go to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Right after that, Champions League. Hasn't won Champions League at all. Jesus Christ. Yeah, sorry, my friend's calling me about something. But yeah, he hasn't won any of those.
You gotta take a second, go for it.
No, I'll just text him. Hold up.
But no, like to me, it's a very much a legacy thing that if he goes to Saudi Arabia, it's really going to harm his overall legacy, and it's just not going to be as impressive anymore if he goes. But I think at the end of the day, he will be a Real Madrid player come next season. So it's one thing or another. I don't know if it's really going to work out this year because PSG seems adamant on their stance about him either re-signing or them selling him this year. And I don't think he wants to go anywhere but Madrid. But I don't know if Madrid now has the money after they got Bellingham. So it's one of those.
That's what I was wondering about because they've already made a fair amount of signings, expensive signings, and you're going to be able to get him on a free in a year. Realistic. He wants to go to Madrid. I keep spouting off that, he said if he goes to the Prem, he's going to go to Arsenal.
He's not
going to Arsenal, and also I don't want him at Arsenal. I really don't. Hot take, would not want him at Arsenal.
Why's that? Just curious.
Ego. It becomes about him. It doesn't become about anything else. Like, I don't know. Like, when he went to
Your Wi-Fi has... Oh, there we go.
Was that my Wi-Fi?
I don't know, because mine shut off also.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey,
whatever it is. All right, we'll go back. I don't want him at Arsenal because do you remember that play where he didn't get the ball, stopped running, and then the ball literally went to where he would have been for a tap-in if he had kept running? Yeah. It is about him. It's not about the team.
And that's why it hasn't worked at PSG. Too much ego with him, Neymar, and Messi, because Neymar and Messi know how to win as a team. Mbappe does not. He needs to start.
Yeah. Arsenal's got a good thing going. We got young players who work for each other. That's what I like about what Arteta's doing. The culture we have stars, but we don't have a superstar. We have a bunch of very good guys who work for each other. They know how to play with each other, and that's why we're doing well. I think if you bring in Mbappe, sure, he'll score goals. He'll be that guy, but I think ultimately he'll bring you down. He will ruin team morale, I feel like. It's going to all be about him, right? He's going to take everything away. I think he'll ruin team morale. And I honestly don't think Arsenal will be successful. I think you keep building the way you're building with the players you have. You keep getting those guys in like Declan Rice. You get guys like that. Kai Havertz, and you go from there. I think Mbappe would ruin it. I don't want him at Arsenal.
I think, yeah, I completely understand. I think the way Arsenal's doing it is there's to an extent following the Man City model. You're bringing players together that want to play with each other, want to play for each other. That's what Pep was so good at doing at Man City. Obviously, they had a ridiculous spending budget to do, so that helped bring in super quality players. But even then, Kevin De Bruyne wasn't anything super special until he got to Man City. Ilkay Gundogan has even come out and said, "I didn't know how to play football until I got to Pep." He just found players, and Arteta's doing the same thing, that want to play with each other, can play with each other well, have the chemistry going, and going to eventually, I think Arsenal might win a title.
Yeah.
Whether it's FA Cup, League Cup. What would Tottenham just win? Not the Audi Cup.
Oh, dude, the other day in the I was thinking about this the other day in the soccer chat. I've never engaged Max.
Oh, he was not happy about that.
Oh yeah, I was gonna keep going, but I was like, I'll stop. But I just brought that up. I was gonna keep going. His response was one that actually had me so dead. Like, weird to judge your success on how another team goes, but hey, who am I to judge? That was like the pettiest response.
That's a rivalry, though. Max is a very big Tottenham fan. You're a very big Arsenal fan. That's why we love this stuff.
Yep.
Okay. Before we move on to just some quick transfer stuff, what do you think of Arsenal's new yellow and blue splashed kits?
Nah,
that ain't it.
I'm not liking it. I missed this one right here. I love that one. I get we have yellow and blue. We've had them for a while. I'm thinking to the days when we had I forget what year it was, but I could just picture Theo Walcott running around in a primarily yellow with blue sleeves jersey. But nah, it's not it. It's not it.
No, it's not. I'm trying to pull up a picture.
It's better than Man U's green and black.
Oh, that thing is disgusting.
But yeah, it's not great, man. I saw Declan Rice in it, and he just looks hideous wearing that.
I mean, I don't know if you'd seen Leeds' rumored away kit, but it has if you haven't, I would say look it up, or I can send the picture over to you.
Right now.
It's peacock feathers.
Okay.
It's like blue with like a neon green looking trim with peacock feathers on it.
Yeah. Why?
Great shirt to wear out to parties and go to clubs. I'll put it that way. So I might get it just for that reason, but
why? What do you guys
see it?
Yeah. Are you late? What do you have to do with peacocks? Like anything?
Yeah, so peacocks are one of Leeds' nicknames, and there was an iconic pub across the street from Ellen Road called the Peacock that shut down during COVID. So it has been a thing, and I mean, our home kit has the peacock design inside the white. It's like, you know how teams have some weird designs inside that you can't really see up until you're up close. We have peacock feathers there. This is it's an interesting one.
Yeah, at least there's meaning behind it. I didn't know that, so I thought you guys just did that. I was like, what the hell are you doing? But
yeah, I mean, if we just did that with no reason behind it, it's just I can't tell if I really like it or really hate it. It's one of those weird ones, but
yeah,
who knows? We are going to move on to just briefly talk on a couple transfers because we are almost at that hour point. Just want to kind of run through what's happened. Jordan Henderson officially signing to El Etik, joining his manager Steven Gerrard, or former, I guess, Liverpool teammate who is now the manager there, Steven Gerrard. Other big ones that have happened: Marvin Verratti has moved to Al Hilal from PSG. Midfielder will be Al Hilal couldn't get one of the big PSG players, so they went and got a different option.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this was a plan to try and sway Mbappe to go join his former teammate. I don't know if it is. I highly doubt it. But what other big transfers have you seen in the last couple of days? Because haven't checked out, Jackson does weekly transfer recaps of what's happened, so he's our expert on this.
Yeah, dude, first of all, those take ages to write. After I did the first one, I was like, why the hell did I tell Trey I was going to do this? But I mean, Aubameyang moving to Marseille is interesting to watch. A fair amount of interesting stuff happened in the French league last week. It's kind of like it looks like a second chance kind of thing because Ben Mendy signed with Lorient. He's getting his second chance. Aubameyang's career is kind of stalled. He's getting his second chance. And Umtiti moved to Lille. So he's kind of getting a second chance with his career. I found that interesting when I looked at that from last week. It's like a week of second chances being dished out, but
yeah,
those are interesting.
A report I'm seeing now is that another American, Unis Musa, wants to go join AC Milan, team up possibly with Christian Pulisic. Yeah. That'll be interesting. Valencia won 25 million euros for him. Milan offered 18. The other big name guy that I want to just mention James Rodriguez is signing in for Sao Paulo in Brazil. He's a player that never quite lived up to the special player he looked like in the 2014 World Cup, which is very, very unfortunate.
Yeah.
And then any other ones? I guess Isco to Real Betis.
Yeah.
And you were telling me earlier why that was? Was it?
Yeah, they're saying because of the connection with Pellegrini. Yep. It's what got it in. It looks like, and I love Isco as a player. I think he's one of the most gifted players on the ball. From I guess we'd say last generation, or it's not like that weird in between time, but. Yeah, he needed some time off, and I'm happy to see him back. I love Isco, so always going to him.
He's 31 now?
Yeah.
Jeez, yeah, he had some bad injuries that kind of derailed his prime a little bit, I would say. So it's unfortunate. Only other one I want to just kind of shout out, not a transfer that's happened, but more rumored, is two players from Inter Milan have been offered apparently numerous times to go join Saudi Arabia. Romelu Lukaku looks like he's going to. It's been reported that they're trying very hard. But shout out Lautaro Martinez. He said he's been receiving crazy big bids from Saudi Arabia, but he is loyal to Milan. Says he's the captain, so he's going to stay there, which is big news for that Inter side, Inter fans, that everyone involved with there. Because he's a very good player, World Cup winner now, Champions League runner-up, and it's just I like seeing that. A guy who could go and take a huge payday in the middle of his prime to go play in Saudi Arabia, but he's not. He's sticking with what he wants and the team that he loves now. So,
yeah, respect.
Jackson, before we wrap this up, anything else you want to quickly say? Or
nothing on my end.
Right. Oh, actually, there was one more thing that you did mention earlier. Barcelona has a guy, a center back, I would believe, Romu.
Center defensive midfielder, yeah.
CDM. $400 million Euro transfer clause. And tell us who that guy is.
Oriol Romeo, bro. They're bringing him in as the Busquets replacement. He grew up in Barca's academy, and don't get me wrong, he's good. And he had a really good season last year with what was it, Girona? Yeah, with Girona. He was at Chelsea for a bit, didn't really work out, went on loans, ended up at Southampton for 7 seasons. Was very good there. He's a good player, but 400 mil is absurd.
Yeah.
For a 31-year-old new signing. Dude, I don't know. The money in soccer now makes no sense. Who the hell is going to pay $400 million to sign him? I don't understand that. He's not elite. I mean, he's elite because he's going to be starting at Barca, but he's not like you look at him and you're like, oh my gosh, he's one of the best center defensive midfielders in the world. I'm taking Ugarte over him any day. I'm taking Declan Rice over him any day, and they're younger. I don't know. It's crazy to me. I don't understand that. What are you trying to keep him from? Who the hell is going to pay 400 mil to sign? Who the hell is going to pay 100 mil to sign Oriol Romeo? I guarantee most people have no idea who this is.
No, I'm pretty sure they don't. But
when I saw they were going to sign him, I was like, oh, Oriol Romeo. That's a name I haven't heard in freaking ages. I didn't even know he was at Girona.
Yeah, because I mean, last I remember he was playing at Southampton, and it wasn't even like he was that successful there. Southampton was never anything special in the Premier League at the time. Now, clearly not. They've been relegated. But hey, 1 year after getting rid of Romeo, they get relegated.
Yeah, maybe he was.
Maybe that's where the 400 million were.
Yeah,
teams promoted.
Bullshit, but
otherwise, just crazy stuff there. And we'll probably be back next week, the two of us, to have another episode of your Vendetta Sports Media Daily Show soccer coverage. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe to all the Vendetta Sports Media stuff, whether it's Twitch, YouTube. Check out our Twitter page. Check out the website. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.